Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a bit of a craft sort out, mainly just the tower here, that has a bunch of junk in. I organise it all the time, well not all the time, but regularly, and it still just gets messed up. It's not stuff in here that I use very often, apart from the top drawer. So it just remains a bit of a mess. So the bottom drawer has a lot of fabric in that I don't really use very often. The second drawer up has more like paints and other like non-sewing, non-fabric supplies. The third drawer up has more fabric in it and then threads and just random sewing related stuff. And the final drawer is a mixture of camera related equipment and storage, some projects that I'm working on or was supposed to be working on currently, and then it's also where I store my laptop really precariously when I'm watching videos whilst I'm working at my craft table, which is just there. So it's just a bit of a mess, so I thought I would film some of me sorting it out and then maybe show the final product. It's a bit awkward to actually film and get it all in shot, so bear with me whilst I try and figure that out. So this drawer is fabrics and also some knitting stuff, which I never use because knitting drives me insane. So there's not actually that much in here, it's just some of this stuff is a little bit bulky. So I'm just going to go through and see what I want to keep, what I can get rid of, and then just tidy it up a little bit. So what I decided to do was actually to keep this as being fabric and sewing related things that I'll use for either my kids or my niece and nephew. So in this bag here is some of the really cute elephant fleecing that I bought when I was making my niece's dressing gown. I also have some leftover fabric from like a t-shirt that I made for my nephew. It has cute little lines on it, and then just lots of like fat quarters and stuff. I found some wadding in there as well, which is from when I made my niece a Snoopy quilt, and I'm planning to, so that's like, this is like the Snoopy fabric that I used, which you can't really see. Snoopy. But I've also got some a Hungry Caterpillar one, which I want to use for my child, and then I have some of the tulle left over that I used for making my niece a little tutu skirt, so I'll keep that in case my kid wants one, or if my niece or nephew want another one. So there's still some room to grow. I pulled out some more fabric from my other fabric drawers, so some fat quarters and stuff that I could use for little craft projects, or some clothes or something for the baby when it comes. So I've still got some more space if I find some more things. It does mean that I've pulled out like some of the fabric, my Star Trek fabric, and then some like knitting stuff, which at the moment has nowhere to go. But for the time being, I'll leave this as it is with just like things to use for kids, and I'll move on to the next drawer, which is like paints and dyes and stuff, which I don't really know what to do with because I never use them, but it seems a bit wasteful just to throw them away. basically kept everything the same. I've just tagged it a little bit. I've pulled out I found some random like receipts and some photographs that were in there, and then also all the paintbrushes, because I never take care of them. I've pulled those out as well, and they can just go in the bin, and if I do decide to do any painting, I'll just have to buy a new paintbrush. And then there's just some like sort of paperwork, so templates for craft projects that I may as well keep, and then this template for making an envelope, which is quite fun, and then some iron-on transfer things, which I'm probably not going to use, but I have already gone into it and like cut a couple out, so I don't know if I can really give these away. But again, when I have kids, it might be something to do with them, because they might like to do that. So I'm just going to pop these on top, which looks a little bit messy, but I'm not that fussed about this drawer. So this third drawer is a mixture, well, it's basically just sewing stuff, but it's a mixture of fabric and threads and some templates. So this is a template for a Christmas stocking that I made, so that can get pulled out for now. And then the threads just need to be a bit tidied up, but I might take those out of here and put them on my other set of craft drawers where my sewing boxes are, and just tidy up the fabric and get rid of any that I can, and if there's any to use for future child projects, I can put it in this bottom drawer. So I'm keeping this as big bits of fabric. I pulled out my threads, I'm going to put them somewhere else, and I pulled out a few other bits of fabric that I can put in this bottom drawer for kid projects. I rearranged the drawers a little bit so that the two fabric drawers will go together, and then I also found various bits of like clothing, either like store-bought clothing that needs to be repaired, that's just been sat here for ages, or like stuff I've made that is also waiting for adjustment. They're just going back in this bin, to be honest with you, but they're on my list. I've also got this t-shirt which I bought ages ago to try and like do some kind of t-shirt project, so that can stay in there, but then I could use those transfers, I guess, that I found earlier. I've also got this incredible like jumpsuit with this crazy fabric which is too big for me, and I was going to try and turn it into a dress or something, but I could not figure out how to do it, so it goes back in here. Well, the top drawer I may as well do standing up because it's a bit easier than having to take it out. It's got a lot of like camera storage. I did have it all nice and organised, and then boyfriend started using the camera a lot more frequently and just messes it up all the time. So we've got about 5 different storage things for the camera bits that I'm just going to pull out, so they don't all need to be in here. There's a laptop cover, microphone, there's also more fabric, receipts, just random crap that's been shoved in, so I'm just going to go through that as well. There, so I decided to basically just keep this as tech, so it's got the camera and the cases, the laptop cover, the microphone, a light and chargey thing, and then a charging cable in there as well, and that'll hopefully keep it neater. I do have like junk everywhere, but the drawers look neater, so I'm pleased with that. There is just like crap all over the floor that I now have to clear up. But yeah, that was my craft sort out. It probably wasn't very easy to see what I was doing, I'm sorry, because of the camera angle, but it's really awkward in this like quite confined space where there's just like a ton of stuff everywhere. But yeah, if you like the video, please give me a like, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe.